Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Bacon Nation proudly presents another episode of the 380 Ammo Comparison Series. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
This is Sig Elite Defense versus Speer Gold Dot, a 380 Ammo Comparison Series video. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at two more common ammos mentioned on the inner tubes when someone asks the question, what 380 ammunition should I carry in my 380 personal protection carry firearm? Today we're going to take a brief look at the accuracy, velocity, ballistics gel target results, and reliability performance of the following: Speer Gold Dot Personal Protection 90 grain Gold Dot Hollow Point, and Sig Sauer Elite Defense V-Crown Personal Defense Ammunition 90 grain Jacketed Hollow Point. To start our test, we'll first take a look at accuracy. And now, let's hit the range. Alright, let's start the day with the accuracy comparison. We'll start with the Speer Gold Dot Personal Protection. This is a 90 grain, I think they call it Gold Dot Hollow Point. We'll do a full 10-shot magazine. I'll do it the bottom left-hand target. Our first shot will be double action. The next 9 shots we'll do single action. Here we go. Okay, good reliability, decent accuracy. Probably would be better. I don't fault the ammo, that's all on me there. Let's do our second ammo that we're going to be testing in this video, which is going to be Sig Personal Defense Ammo, their Elite Defense V-Crown, which is a 90 grain Jacketed Hollow Point. Bottom right hand target, same as before. First shot will be double action, next 9 will be single action. Okay, that one a little lower in the grouping than the Gold Dot. Another interesting thing is, and I did not notice it at all with the Gold Dot, but I certainly noticed it with the Sig ammunition. I don't know what it was, but some particulate kept blowing back, hitting me in the face. So we'll see if we can pick that up on camera. Anyway, let's move on. As far as accuracy goes on our 10-yard targets today, I'm calling things a wash. The lack of precision on the groups you see is mostly me, though there is a slight difference in point of impact between these two ammunitions. Another mentionable here is with the Sig ammo we're shooting today, we did get what I'm calling some particulate blowback not experienced with other ammunition tested on and off camera today. I found that to be a little distracting at times, and we're going to come back to that at the end. Now let's move on to the velocity test portion of today's video. Alright, let's do a chronograph test here. We're going to do 5 shots. Hopefully I can rotate this. That'll have to do. 5 shots. Speer Gold Dot. Bottom left target, not this one, not accurate at the moment. Let's see what velocity numbers we get. $958. 998. 966. 957. 970. And probably a much better than we did on our first set today. Okay, now we are going to do 5 shots. Sig Elite Defense. Bottom right target. Let's see what accuracy or velocity numbers we get out of this. $849. 870. Something on the forehead. 877. 856. 854. Definitely dirty about this ammo. I got hit 2 more. Fireworks, projectiles. Alright. For the Speer Gold Dot 90 grain hollow point, we have an average velocity of 966 feet per second. The highest velocity was 998 feet per second. Lowest velocity 937 feet per second. The difference between the highest and lowest velocity was 61 feet per second, with a standard deviation of 22. For a 90 grain projectile with an average velocity of 966 feet per second, by my math, that comes out to 186.4 foot-pounds of energy. Looking at the Sig Elite Defense 90 grain jacketed hollow point, our average velocity was 861 feet per second, with the highest velocity 877 feet per second, lowest velocity 859 feet per second. Difference between the highest and lowest velocity 28 feet per second, with a standard of deviation of 11.7. For a 90 grain projectile with an average velocity of 861 feet per second, again by my math, that comes out to 148.1 foot-pounds of energy. Also of note, by this channel's bad math standards, the Elite Defense ammunition was on average 100 feet per second slower compared to the Speer Gold Dot. It also had, on average, 40 foot-pounds of less energy per projectile. Now these are just numbers on a page and holes in a paper. How about we test this ammo against some 10% FBI grade ballistics gel and see how it performs on that. Okay.
I'm impressed that as long as we've used that table, we haven't shot it up.
We've only hit it like twice. Okay, now we're going to do a different 380 ammo test. We're going to be looking at Speer Gold Dot Personal Protection 90 grain hollow point against Sig Elite Defense 90 grain jacketed hollow point. We're going to start first with the Speer Gold Dot. We're going to do 2 shots into our gel. Here we go.
definitely hit it both times clean.
Yeah. Okay. Eight and a half and 11 inches. Okay, 90 grain Sig Elite Defense jacketed hollow point. Here we go. Sig, and that's Sig.
Yep.
So very similar.
Look at the channels initially. They must have both tumbled.
We're at about 9 to 12 inches on the Sig ammo. It looks like, without digging them out, similar hollow point expansion. Though I think, based on this angle, to me it looks like the Speer Gold Dot have a little more expansion. Because let's see, this would be Sig here, Gold Dot here.
Yeah.
I think.
My initial impression is that both ammos performed well.
Yeah, hard to distinguish.
Yeah.
We'll have to review it on the footage in slow-mo. Note, we're about to show you a breakdown using super scientific terms to make it sound like we know what we're talking about. We do not. This section is for entertainment purposes only. We're not experts. Don't fall for the honey words dribbled in your ear. Now what we see is on impact, there is a ripple up. The gel almost does a tidal wave. We can see in the wound channel that comes through, there's a sort of a dip down, and then it proceeds through. The front of our block at the bottom, we can see that it lifts up off the ground. It almost is like that on impact, the impact wants to lever the gel block up. But of course, that's a 90 grain projectile hitting a 17-pound block of gel that's pretty much stuck to the table. So let's get into some of the other technical terms here. We can see that we have the tidal wave action going on. We can see that the gel, now is this gel a solid or is this gel a liquid? I have no idea, but from what I understand from Googling, it's what they call a colloid, which is a solid structure suspended in a liquid. So because there is a liquid, it sort of wants to wave like a liquid, but that solid structure is preventing that wave from sort of breaking like you might surf on at Hawaii. So what we see is this colloid, because it has sort of the solid and the liquid properties both combined, it comes up, and then the solid structure in there has some elasticity. That elasticity pulls the block back down, we see then the sine wave beginning to create across the gel, which causes what this channel calls the violent jigger of a 17-pound block across the table upon impact. Let's move on to our next image. Now, if we look at, here we can see the impact of 3 of the 4 projectiles where it traverses through our gel. Now our, what we call our wound channels for the first hand. Now if you don't know what a hand is, it's actually a unit of measurement that's about 4 inches. So for the first hand of the block, we see what I'm going to say is where the most of the energy is dispersed from that impact. We see sort of the violent explosion of the wound channel, and then the round progresses or continues to progress through the gel to about, depending on the round you're looking at, 8.5 to 12 inches in the block. Now let's zoom in on these rounds, and what we can see is that again, they're 8.5 to 12 inches, the 8.5 to 11 for our 2 Gold Dot rounds, 9 to 12 inches for our 2 Sig Elite Defense rounds. But what I'm going to say is we have, since a very small sample size in this gel block, fairly consistent penetration depth on the gel here. Now one interesting thing to look at here, let me move to the side here, is you can clearly see 2 of the impact points on the gel. Can you find the 2 impact points from the Sig Elite Defense? Because I will tell you that the 2 impact points that you see here on the block visibly are from the Speer Gold Dot ammunition. Let's zoom in on those. Now if you look at, here's one of the very interesting things you can see looking at the gel. We can see the impact point has a crater, what we're going to say. And then if you look closely, you can see outlined in almost a char mark there where the petals of that hollow point are expanding, which I think is why for the first hand of the block we see what I'm going to call the most energy, or the impact of that energy being dispersed. Now here, there's Waldo. Here you can see the impact point from one of our Sig rounds, and you can even see there very faintly char marks, what we're going to say, in the gel of where those petals are beginning to expand right on impact. And for the curious, I believe the impact points on those SIGs are about here and here. We'll put some red circles around it. My finger might not match up with it.
We have reached the conclusion to another video. I find the results of today's video to be quite interesting, but like all videos, the real result is in the eyes of the viewer. In today's video, we looked at 2 popular on the internet personal protection 380 ammos: Speer Gold Dot 90 grain Gold Dot hollow point, and Sig Elite Defense V-Crown personal protection 90 grain jacketed hollow point. When it comes to the accuracy and reliability portions of today's video, I'm considering things a wash. When it comes to the velocity and, shall we say, energy portion of today's video, we did see a clear advantage on the side of the Speer Gold Dot versus the Sig Elite Defense, 186 versus 148 foot-pounds of energy. On paper, that is a big difference, and you could easily say quite significant difference. But I think there is a different question at play here: time. How much has time come into play? From what I can tell, Speer Gold Dot came out around 1991, around 30 years ago. Sig Elite Defense came out just a few years ago, from what I can tell. Not 30, 20, 10 years ago. While the Gold Dot had better average velocity and energy, how much does that difference in time and the advances in technology come into play here? In my not an expert opinion, I think we see a slight but noticeable difference in the performance, and not in a bad way. While the Sig ammo had lower average velocity and energy, we saw greater average penetration, and for one of the 2 rounds, what I'd consider better and 2020s-esque scarier or tactical expansion. Again, I'm not an expert, but there appears to be a 30-year advancement in technology advantage to the SIG ammunition. It has what I'd call, in a technical sense, scarier expansion. You might even say, based on some of the video today, better accuracy. If there is one noticeable downside, at least in the ammo shot today, for the SIG ammo, it is in that random particulate cast-off. With most shots, I was peppered with what on slow-mo appears to be some type of random corn cob filler. I don't know what it is, that's my guess. It was distracting at the range under ideal conditions with eye protection. If you had to use this ammo in a real-life situation, I'd hope you don't experience the same cast-off we did here today. Most people probably don't rock eye protection in their everyday life. A pebble-sized material flying in your eye could be enough to render you combat ineffective at your time of greatest need, in my not an expert opinion. I sincerely hope our experience today is at the extreme end of the bell curve and not the norm in that regard. It is certainly well outside the norm with ammo in general that we normally test. Every once in a while, we run into an ammo where something about it besides how it puts holes in paper is its downside. And today is one of those rare occasions. Sometimes it's something like little bits of ash that fall and obscure your micro red dot. Today it's the large pebble-sized bits of cast-off flying at your face that without eye protection could mean you're gonna have a bad time. We've spent enough time beating a dead horse, so let's move on to our final thoughts. For the Speer Gold Dot 90 grain Gold Dot hollow point, today we saw excellent accuracy, reliability, velocity, and ballistics gel performance in our not an expert opinion. For the Sig Elite Defense 90 grain jacketed hollow point, we saw excellent accuracy, reliability, and ballistics gel performance. The velocity wasn't anything to brag about, but the advances in technology that allow for a difference in hollow point design seem to make up for that, and maybe then some. If there's one area where the SIG ammo had a clear advantage, it was in price. At the stores I frequent, the Sig Elite Defense ammo sells for around $19.99 a box, while the Speer Gold Dot, when you can find it, sells for around $29.99 a box. Was there $10 difference in the performance of these two ammos today? We'll let you be the judge of that. That seems like a good place to end the video. We hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day. If you're still watching at this point and you enjoyed the video, think about mashing those like and subscribe buttons. Not only does it help the channel with that algorithm everyone talks about, but more importantly, it helps a good cause. The money we get from Google for the content on this channel is donated to charity, 100% of it. The first check we got from Google wasn't much, a little over $122, but every little bit helps. I picked two charities that are important to the crew: the Children's Hospital of Orange County and the Community Food Bank of Central Alabama. Half of that check went to each organization, plus a little extra to cover all the fees. Good times. When we say thanks for watching, we really do appreciate it. Your viewership helps us do something positive with firearms related content. Thanks for watching.